Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Star-studded panel today, like always. Harry Glanz, good morning.
Good morning, Harvey. Good morning, everybody out there. And I think, Harvey, to start it off, I think the market has figured out rates aren't going down to zero, pal.
No, they're not. Becky Alley joins us from, of course, Capital Mortgage Funding. Top 1% of all originators. Good morning, Becky.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and happy Juneteenth.
Yeah, for sure, Juneteenth. Hey, it's great to have Jim Shaffer. We got Aaron Bourdeau on the line also. I think Aaron is going to be, Aaron's on there too. Good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having us.
You guys are great. Of course, we know Jim Shaffer and Associates. Jim, when I was writing it down last night, I told you right before we started, I was writing down like the Woodward corridor, and there's so much action. Of course, we're in Oakland County, but with so much going on in Southeast Michigan, you're an expert up and down Woodward. Take it all the way down from Detroit to Pontiac. That's really been your niche for several years.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been fortunate to build community within those individual communities that consolidate around the Woodward corridor. So it literally is everything from the riverfront up and back through Pontiac, with a specialization Ferndale, Royal Oak, Berkeley, Clawson, all those fine cities that make up the Woodward corridor.
Yeah, if you're not following Jim on social media, I just want to point that out. Both him and Aaron, you guys are missing the boat. So you need to hit them up on Facebook and Instagram, because when he's out there promoting those listings, it is unlike anything I've ever seen. And I'm not going to give it away, but he finds that one adjective and he just rocks it to the cows come home.
Absolutely. I look forward to those videos all the time.
Yeah, your website, guys, is loaded with information. There's no doubt. Last night I had to check it out, and even like things that are going on in the different cities, whether it be Hazel Park or Ferndale or any of the cities that you guys are really in every day, just putting out what's going out there, whether it be the farmers market or something going down at the library. And that's the kind of stuff, as you said, Jim, communities are built around all this. Boy, that's what home ownership to us, Harry, it really is special still. You're just not a number when you work with us, because we build these long-term relationships.
Well, that's what people want to know when they're moving into an area. They want to know what the community has to offer. They want to know all the services. They want to be part of something. They obviously want to know about the schools, the shopping. And I think what Jim and Aaron do when they put it on social media, they let everybody know. And that's what's happening. And you've got to let everybody know what's going on. And that just makes them more attractive to live in that community.
Jim, don't want to hide away from the inventory shortage that we've been dealing with here. You know, it really kicked off last year with the multiple bids. Do you see anything coming our way? It appears that some of the listings did pick up a little bit in Southeast Michigan. Can you comment on those?
Yeah, it seems like we're getting a little bit of an influx of inventory. I mean, the reality is people are doing their spring cleaning, kids are getting out of school. You know, folks have been homeschooling all this time during COVID, and they couldn't even think about having their home shown. And now the reality is they're ready to do it, right? They've outgrown their houses. COVID's made us all look at our housing a little bit differently, the things that we need, a home office, maybe a pool, maybe a rec room. And so folks are buying up for those reasons. And so we're seeing a little inventory begin to come on the market. But the actual reality is we have a housing shortage, and that's what not enough folks are actually talking about. It's the lack of new build inventory across North America, in fact. So Canada's experienced a somewhat similar, but hyper-local here in Metro Detroit, it's an actual housing shortage, both of rental property and properties available for purchase.
Yeah, Becky, boy, all those landlords wanted to eat up all the properties. They took advantage of those low rates. Now our first-time home buyers and people trying to step up are having a little bit of trouble getting their offers accepted.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about people that are competing with experienced buyers, right? So repeat buyers. Then you have the investors that have that capital to come in, and they just gobbled up everything. Even when, back in like 2010, right? They held on to a lot of those properties, and, they're retaining them because right now and that's why rent is so expensive. Everything is just kind of going up because all those people came in, they swooped up, took it all, and they're not letting them go. And that's a lot of, like you said, that it's a housing shortage just across the board. And then you have this lumber in the new construction cannot step up to the plate to offset the fact that people are now staying where they live because they either decided they don't want to be a part of the buyer's pool, or a lot of investors have taken advantage of it. And it's really, it comes down to how we have to hone into those new buyers that are coming into this marketplace that have to compete with, cash, really.
Yeah, Jim probably owns about 20 or 30 of those type of homes. Probably drove into the marketplace when things got there. I saw him cringing a little bit. I won't go there with it, but Aaron, Aaron, talk a little bit about this inventory thing. I mean, the prices are going through the roof again. I like the idea. Jim gave me a little sunshine there when he said, now that the kids are home from school, we can clean up the house. The pandemic's starting to get behind us. Again, things Tuesday are going to be let go, where I guess no mandate on the mask and stuff. Again, hopefully everyone will take care of getting the shot and things will move that way. Will more homes lower the price, or do you see these bidding wars continuing throughout the summer and maybe even to next year?
I think it's going to kind of continue to trend this way. I think Jim and I were talking actually last week, and we did see a bit of an influx there with inventory. Probably about the last couple of weeks, ourselves as a team, we were putting up record numbers for new listings. It seemed like, hey, here's what we've been waiting for, but I mean, we're kind of right back into it. That initial wave of all that inventory kind of got scooped up, and I mean, we're still competing with tons of offers. Super aggressive buyers that are still getting beat out on their houses. So I mean, the inventory will help, but I think it'll pretty much kind of, with the rates staying low, I think it'll kind of just continue on for the next hopefully not too long, but next couple of years, I think.
Yeah, some of the sellers definitely a little squirrely about getting, strangers in their house. I mean, not everybody, but some people definitely. They were setting up the showings, it was one after another, multiple offers, multiple showings, really different taste of what the real estate market looked like over the last 12 months. The largest price increases were in Austin, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, and Detroit, Michigan. Harry, boy, our area is really flourishing, but you old timers out there want to downsize. We get a lot of that, Harry, especially, and again, I'm not picking on your 60 and older by any means, love y'all. And, but what I'm saying is there are, Harry, a group of you got the kids are out of the house now. They've graduated college or getting married, or they're married. You guys, some of you are looking to downsize. There are some folks that didn't get that first floor master bedroom. Harry, The prices aren't any lower. They can downsize, but it doesn't cost them any less money.
Yeah, Harvey, I appreciate you granting me the opportunity to speak for all the old people in the world. I really like that, and that makes me feel really good about that. But in any event, what's going on is that everybody wants to, if you're an empty nester, if your kids are gone, everybody wants a first floor master, right? How many times have you heard that? A first floor master or a ranch, right? And for years and years, Harvey Freed always told me, ranches are worth more than colonials or split level houses. And it just seems that right now everybody's looking for a ranch or a first floor main bedroom. And that's what's going on. But there aren't too many of them. And I was fortunate to, a long time ago, to buy one that had one. So I'm staying here forever. So speaking for all the old people, if you don't want to climb stairs and you're out there looking for a ranch or a house that has a main floor bedroom, guess what's happening, guys? You're not going to find it because there's a shortage on it. And they're very, very scarce right now. And Jim and Aaron will tell you, and we can tell you on the mortgage side, that these multiple offers on these homes will continue for the foreseeable future until all of a sudden one day Aaron and Jim call us up and said, guess what? We're listing 1,000 new homes this week. We don't see that happening right now, but we're in the 10th year of a seller's market. This is 10 years, everybody.
Jim, definitely, as Harry's talking about, is, what are people? Is this what people are looking for? Are they looking for the ranches now? And again, they're not out there. Where are we going to find these ranches? Where's the next housing thing going to take off? Or are people just going to move west or north?
Well, the reality is it's a building shortage, like I alluded to earlier. The builders for the longest time were building single family homes, meaning these were designed really, around a family, not so much for the downsizers, for all the baby boomers that we have coming through the system right now. People are living longer. They want places that fit their lifestyle. And so those homes really aren't available. The actual Forbes magazine had an interesting article out this week that said from 2001 until today, so for the past 20 years, builders on average built 276,000 less homes than they did from the time between 2000 and 1968. So we're at a lack of like 5.5 new construction, or 5.5 million new construction homes. And the ones that were being built actually weren't even designed for baby boomers, right, to downsize into these ranches. So we haven't had that sort of building since post-war.
At least a $4 million home shortage. Jim says maybe closer to 5 million. Keep it here, 248-539-9797. We got 1 hour of the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Tons of great information. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, Equal Housing Lender. Great show today. We got Jim Shaffer and Associates. Of course, joining Jim, Aaron Bourdeau. Good company, Realty. They're awesome, man. Just tons of information to share. Keep it up. 248-539-9797. If you want to list or buy a house anywhere in the Southeast Michigan, this would be a great show for you to call in. We'll set you up with a great team. And again, Harry Glantz, Becky Alley join us. So you guys want to jump in with anything. Of course, the impact on the inventory has just been crazy all around the country. So we see the prices continuously going up, interest rates, keeping it affordable, obviously, for families over the last I'll say 18 months, Harry, because it's really been jamming already. 6 months into 2021, the numbers are 24% up. Because last year in May, the housing market was shut down, Jim Shaffer. There was really nothing. It was really scary there for a minute. April, we wrapped up our April closings in May, and we weren't sure, but sure enough, they allowed people to set up these, open houses. We were opening the doors and allowing the appraisers in, turning all the lights on so people didn't have to touch things. Interesting time.
Yeah, it was an interesting time, that's for sure. We were finding ways to put deals together, certainly not at the rate that we're accustomed to. Our team is fortunate. We often serve over 100 families per month. But during that shutdown, obviously became much more difficult. The reality is we had buyers that still wanted to buy, sellers that still needed to sell. And so we were finding ways to match make. Obviously, realtors, because professionally we couldn't leave the house and we couldn't open doors and show property, but we were matchmaking buyers and sellers to peek in windows. Oddly enough, we were still getting deals together. Where there's a will, there's a way, and I've always got the will to get the job done. So.
Right. Things are definitely a little unconventional. Becky Alley, really fun times though, as we saw so many families again, sort of looking back at their home and saying, hey, I might want to stay here. I might want to fix this up, or what, this home is not going to match my family's needs.
Yeah, this is a time like we talked about before. I mean, you literally have to love where you live, right? And the pandemic really shined a light on whether your home is checking all those boxes or it's not, right? And then you had to make that decision. Do you want to get into this buyer's pool that is so competitive and so wild, right? And, we were talking about during the pandemic, the things that we had to do, and we had to get creative, and especially you guys as agents. I mean, you had to find ways to get your buyers into homes without missing a beat, without being able to really fully be as hands-on as you guys truly are. And, I kind of want to hear about what you guys were doing, because your guys' the thing is that, and all our listeners, like Jim Shaffer, The Good Company, their whole package, right? You are getting that one-on-one individual attention. I mean, they do not miss a beat. They are so thorough, and they have a culture that is very unique. And, Jim has been in the business for a very long time, right? And so is Aaron. And, I kind of want to hear about what their beliefs are in their culture, because that is really that sets them apart from all the other agencies, because it's unique, it's different, and they're out there fighting every day for their clients. And, I feel like they need to have a minute to I want to hear about that, because I think it's fantastic.
Well, I want to speak a little bit on the culture and, just kind of, I'll let Jim take over. But, our culture, we're just basically our motto, our mantra is yes, how. We do anything and everything we can for our clients to get them in houses. That's the benefit of having such a large team with such just great support, is that, we don't drop the ball here at Jim Shaffer and Associates. If there's something that comes up, we've got support, we've got back. We're just doing everything and anything we can do for our clients to get, because we know it's competitive. We've got to be on the ball. We've got to get out to these houses right away. We've got to offer 3D tours or different things for our sellers. We have to adapt and adjust, and with this team and this culture, it's just very easy to do.
That's interesting. Blazing hot market. Jim Shaffer, did we have the peak already? Was the peak last month in May, or should we expect some huge numbers still?
We have not yet had the peak. We have our booked business for next month is actually a record-breaking month. For us individually, it's the best month in the company history. But the reality is we have not yet hit the peak. We still have this housing shortage. As long as interest rates remain low, and obviously Becky and Harry can speak to that, but it seems as if they are going to remain steady. And as long as that is the case, homes are more affordable today than they've ever been in the history of our country when you factor in that interest rate. And even though folks are going to pay a premium in a bidding war because of the shortage of inventory, the right real estate team can help position your offer and actually put you in a position where you'll have a tremendous amount of equity and also a more affordable payment than rent.
Harry, I wrote it down last night that the professionalism does matter. The professionalism, the people answering the phones, your mortgage real estate team that you have involved, maybe even your inspectors, throw all those people in. That is very important to stay. It became very important again, I think.
Well, I heard three things in what Aaron and Jim were saying. Okay, they were saying support mechanisms. You have to have support. You have to have a team environment. A team takes care of everything with supporting teammates as well. And then the last thing is that you have to have the willingness to do whatever it takes, of course, in all legal manner, to make sure things get done properly. And when you align all those three things together in our industry with mortgage, real estate, title, appraisal, inspectors, look at things are going to come up. But as long as you have those things in place and your overall philosophy is we work hard and we'll do whatever it takes, Harvey Freed, I think you have a very powerful thing. And then lastly, to your point, what's going on in the market, Harvey? What's going on in the market? Jim said it the best. These are the lowest rates in history. What does that mean? Historically, are they 2.5 now? No, but they're certainly 3.25, 3.5. That's pretty low in the history of the United States. So as long as those things continue to happen, we should see a very robust real estate market. And that's the way it's trending.
Yeah, not everyone has that great golden eye. I mean, it takes a while to establish some skills in real estate. That's why that team is so important. It's not that you're new to an office or you just got your real estate office or your license, but more importantly, that you have a team supporting you behind you. These addendums have to be written properly. You got to know the next step. You have to understand how to negotiate. Not everyone has that, Jim. Is that true to say? I mean, not everyone has the same eye and taste for real estate. And when I was saying that, I was thinking you must be selling homes that you've already sold before. Or you've got buyers now buying a house that you've already sold. So they've already done the inspection, 5 years ago and 10 years ago also.
That's right. Yeah. And oftentimes we do resell the same house, sometimes 3 and 4 times, because we are so hyper local to the communities that we choose to do business with and to serve within. And so what's interesting is that we are a team of 69 professionals, each of us with a specialization. So we have a team that services the Woodward corridor. We have a team that services the 275 corridor. We have a team that services the I-94 corridor. And so we're covering the Tri-County area. And the reality is that a team of specialists will always outperform an individual generalist. And so the ability that our team has, because we have a full in-house marketing department with full-time salaried employees focused on our social media and our web content and our SEO and all of the other print medias and the old-fashioned things like postcards, et cetera, to make sure that our sellers' properties are front and center no matter what platform you're on. If it's on one of the real estate portals like Realtor.com or Zillow, or on our website or even our competitors' websites.
Yeah, so much fun. Becky, Ellie, isn't it fun when you do like a new transaction somewhere in the city of Detroit? It's always been that way, or Hazel Park and some of these new areas and stuff. It's exciting. And then the people that are involved in these areas have such passion, Becky. That's one thing you can't teach someone. If you're working that too, like Jim said, he's working that maybe that Hamtramck area down on 75, that whole area, the passion that everyone has, they know the culture, they know what's going on down there, the restaurants, the bars, all the fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows I get fired up all the time. I get super excited when I'm talking about stuff. And I was even downtown on one of those pedal bikes last night, and it was great to see like the city finally back alive, right? There was a pulse. You could feel it. The restaurants were busting at the seams. People were sitting outside. We were dancing in the streets, right? It was a great time to actually feel like you could be a person again, right? And socialize, because we're just social creatures, right? And what they're talking about, like the walkable downtown areas like the Ferndale, Royal Oak, you have all these amazing places that you can just walk down. And when you align yourself with the people that are are passionate about where you want to live, because like I said, you have to love where you live right now. So when you're working with a team of professionals that are passionate about showing you that home and they know that city inside and out, that's what is, that's the kind of people that you need representing you. And like Harvey was talking about, who you work with matters, right? You need to be with someone that's going to answer your phone. If we're up, I'm going to respond. If someone is hitting me up at 1 in the AM because they were looking at a house on Zillow and they want to be ready for first thing in the morning to write that offer, guess what? I'm going to respond. And the first thing I'm going to do is log in and we're going to take care of it, because we're here to help facilitate whatever we can do to make you stand out from everyone else.
All right, we got tons to share with you here. You got it on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show again, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glanson Danberg from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
the show 929. Hey, Shane, you're really rocking over there. We got the 22-year-old producer over here. This guy's going to be a future star. I know it, Shane. I don't know if anyone's listened to him. If you know Shane from Monroe, then you know he's a great producer, future radio star. All right, you got to tune into the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We take all your calls, 248-539-9797, and we definitely want to hear from you. Harry might have just dropped off. Make sure he calls back in here. We'll get him back on the air. Boy, we live in a world, and I want to get Harry on this conversation. Oh, there you are. Everyone's falling off here. Jim, come on, call back. Jim's going to call back. We'll get him up. Harry, we live in a crazy world. Things have really changed lately. You know, it's this, you open up your cell phone and then you get things popping up, and it's not as safe as it was, Harry. There's a lot of cyber problems out there. Again, the U.S. gets attacked. This sort of falls into, like, I feel like families are getting attacked. Jim, you're showing up to closings, and Harry will comment to this. You're dealing with brand new real estate agents sometimes that don't have teams. If you're just clicking buttons and you're not meeting the people, being referred to these people, it's scary. I mean, Jim, they do it with real estate agents, shopping for your mortgage. I mean, this isn't a car. This is something a lot more serious.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's two things that are hyper local: politics and real estate. And those two things, I mean, it's a local business. Local professionals are the ones that you should be working with, right? In every case, especially in these times when we have low inventory, where we're seeing bidding wars on virtually every property, 20, 40 offers that are all over asking. You need to be working with a great buyer's agent. And just because you can get 20 offers on your property doesn't mean it's easy. You need the right listing specialist that knows how to strategically market your property to drive traffic in a short amount of time in a very small window, and then set a highest and best deadline to meet all of those things. So our listing strategy incorporates 7 days of pre-marketing before we allow any individual in the door. And if your listing agent doesn't have that sort of strategy built out that they can articulate to you, most likely they aren't the likely, candidate for the job.
Yeah, there's repairs, there's staging, there's decluttering. There's a lot of things that you need to do, maybe some paint, carpet, floors. In other words, Jim, they're coming to you, the professionals. You're setting them up for success. This isn't click a button and all of a sudden you're having some stranger show you a house. Aaron, can you go ahead, Aaron?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's key, to like Jim was saying, getting local experts that can speak on what goes on in the community, the school districts. All those things are very important. Having that marketing and advertising team that we have, honestly, it just makes my job super easy as far as going to listing houses. I kind of show them what we do in our process, and I usually just they ask me to sign a contract with them because our marketing and advertising team just blows it out of the water. They're above and beyond. So like I said, kind of makes my job easy as a listing agent when I go out to a listing and I have all these marketing tools and this big long process and great game plan. Most of my sellers are going, hey, where can we sign? Can we sign with you now? We're ready to go. So yeah,
why not? The expertise is definitely there. Becky, this morning I had some extra time, and sure enough, I wanted to click in to see, those, you go to these sites. This is what's been bothering me. People are going to these sites and getting information. They got strangers calling them. Becky, this morning, my house was either worth $230,000 or $300,000. I don't know, but I'm missing 70 grand out there, Jim Shaffer. Where'd my money go?
Yeah, these sites are out there where you can click on and either get a mortgage or be connected with a real estate professional. And the only thing professional about it is they may have a real estate license, but oftentimes they're sitting in cubicles in other states. That's sort of the unsung story of all of this. If you go on a big national real estate website, you're speaking with somebody in a cubicle outside the state, and they may be licensed in your state by coincidence, or their broker may be. But the reality is they have no idea what happens within your community. They don't know your school district. They don't know everybody's favorite restaurant in town. They don't know the neighborhood and the neighbors and who lives there. So it's an interesting thing that's happening in our industry right now. There's even a big player in Metro Detroit that functions that way, that's trying to move into the real estate industry. And the whole story is just a little bit silly, frankly.
There you go. You're hearing from the experts. 248-539-9797. We take all your calls. If you're buying a house, selling a house, got some great people on the air for you today. Becky Alley, there's no doubt about it. Deal with a solid team. We talk about it all the time. But Becky, let's talk about the ease of getting a house in today's marketplace. Becky, the USDA loan, unbelievable. FHA, unbelievable. 3% down conventional. Becky, hit people up with a little bit of how it is so easy to get a mortgage with us at Capital Mortgage Funding.
You just got to call us, right? The first part you need to do is about the conversation. You cannot start the conversation about home ownership soon enough. right? Because you don't know what your credit's going to look like, how we're going to view things. You can drive yourself crazy thinking a million different scenarios, but you're not going to have the answers till you seek out the professional advice, right? So we're here, whether you want to work with us or not. We're always advocates on how we can advise you. And the days of looking at a house and then wanting to see it before you're pre-approved are gone. You're not even going to be entertained because it is so competitive. So you do need to have an actual pre-approval in hand, and one that actually means something, right? There is a difference because not all pre-approvals are made the same. You know, agents are very professional. They've been around. They're going to know what Jim was talking about. You have people that are all over the state. They're not local to Michigan. And it's nothing against that, but sometimes you don't know what is that value of that piece of paper is. Did they really do their due diligence? So who you work with matters more so than ever. And the credit, right? You pull your credit, you could have great credit, you could have not great credit, but we're here to help you. And, you know, you can have 3.5% down. You do not have to have 20% down at all right now in order to get a mortgage. And right now with having to go above asking, sometimes putting a little bit less down so that way you can go above if you need to be competitive. And that's the things that we kind of set you up to be strategic. And even USDA, it's zero down, but that does not mean zero out of pocket. So give us a call, and you know, we're going to walk you through each program to make sure that it fits your needs, because everybody's different, right? Just I'm different, you're different, and your mortgage needs and what's going to get you in that house is going to be totally different than what Jim or Aaron's going to do. So
yeah, no, it's great points. 248-539-9797. Harry, a couple of weeks ago, last month, I had on a divorce expert, you know, a local divorce attorney. And of course, that's pretty close to your home too, Harry, as so many families have to go through this horrible thing. But there's light at the end of the tunnel, but you really have to see what the divorce judgment is. This week, I was referred a young lady, a mom, and she's going to be getting a divorce. And again, the language in that divorce decree is so important. And it's so important for me that I had this conversation, Becky, as you talk about, make that phone call to us so that I can get her family. She's going to have the kids, they're going to split apart. One's going to keep the existing house, but they need to refinance at home. And there's a lot of moving things. And that's why you got to have professional people to hurry up and see what you qualify for. And even if you're sitting down and you're going through this now with your divorce attorney, make sure you reach out to a qualified mortgage banker. Harry, that's going to be part of your team.
Well, Harry, what has to take place is when you get the divorce judgment, if it's final, the words in that document will dictate what those two parties have to do. If one of the parties is staying in the house and they have to buy out the other party through a cash out refinance by a certain date, that's what has to be done, unless they go ahead and they go back to the court and they extend the period of time. So whatever the written word says in that document, that's usually what has to be done. That's number one. Number two, going back and going down a different road that you brought up earlier when we came back from break, don't deal with strangers. Listen, identity theft right now is running at record levels. There was just an identity theft ring broken up in Bloomfield Hills that targeted Franklin, Oakland County. Why are people giving their information to strangers? Also, this one was broken up because people went into their mailboxes. Okay. There are certain things you never do. You never give social security numbers over the phone to people that you don't know, and you don't go on websites and just start filling out information because you don't know where that's going to. As Jim alluded to, there are all kinds of websites connecting. You don't know where they're connecting to. How do you know? So if you're not dealing with a qualified referral, a warm referral, as we like to say, why are you giving your information to strangers? Just don't do that. Please don't do that.
Well, the thing is like people want to call, you keep calling because they want someone to tell them what they want to hear, right? And, you know, sometimes you just keep calling and calling because they're not getting the right answer. But sometimes you need to work with people that are going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, because there is a lot of noise out there. And you know, we're always advocates on getting the right information. And you need to, like, someone got into my bank account like last month. I had to change everything. And I mean, it was like, and it wasn't anything that I did wrong. It was, I wrote a check to somebody and someone got my routing number and then they made their own things. I mean, if these people really put their effort into something like, I don't know, substantial, they could probably solve world hunger. I don't know, but they're still out there, and you need to make sure that you are protecting yourself and working with the right people and not just filling out stuff online just because you just are on there and you're bored. You know, just make sure you just are hooking up with the people that are going to advise you the best way.
I like that segue. Jim, you know, Jim, homes are on the market for 16 days. The typical home gets listed, and right now about 16 days before you get that offer, once it hits, is that time for you guys to do the staging? And that's why I wrote it down. But as I'm thinking about it, I like how you addressed it. You get the phone call first. You got 7 days to sort of pre-stage that house and really put that plan together.
Yeah, truth is, when you hire a real estate professional, their job becomes to get you the most amount of money possible. And oftentimes that also means guarding from unnecessary repairs or unnecessary staging in this market. Homes are selling so quickly that things that are even B grade rather than A grade are still selling and still selling with multiple offers. So 9 times out of 10, unless it's a severe situation, we're recommending in this market that sellers are not staging. It's really just about the marketing and the presentation. And again, the strategy with the timing. There's another thing that's happening actually, Harvey, with the pent up demand and the inventory.
Jim, you save that, because I think you had a great point coming about the pent up demand and inventory. That's going to be a nice segue for us. Stay tuned here. Keep it here on 97.1, 248-539-9797. We come back. Jim Shaffer and Associates, they'll give you all the secrets.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, welcome back to the show, 9:45. Someone says that they can hear us in between the break. That's okay. Give us a call then, 248-539-9797. I got a better idea. Call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank here. Why don't you deal with a real mortgage professional? We'll go through everything with you. If you want to meet in person, do it on the phone. I did a couple FaceTime interviews over the winter time, and it's great. I like meeting people still one-on-one because I always feel like even when they leave, Harry, and you say I'm entertaining, Harry always picks on me, an hour and a half in the office, there's a lot to go over. You're buying a house. There's a lot of, we always say, moving parts. There's money moving around. And if you're not prepared, you can make this a real hassle on yourself versus really enjoying the experience. Harry, I'll let you jump in on it because I still like meeting with people one-on-one.
Well, number one, Harvey, is you only pick on the ones that you love. So you should appreciate that.
Thank you.
Also, yes, meeting face-to-face in a lot of circumstances. When you're meeting with first-time home buyers, you have to walk them through everything. I feel that it is an injustice, texting, emailing, but in those circumstances, and Aaron will appreciate this, it's all situational, Aaron, just like baseball. It depends on the situation. All right. If you have somebody that you need to meet face to face and walk them through everything and they want to do it that way, I think that's wonderful. And we still love doing it that way. If you have somebody that wants to email, wants to text, wants to do it by phone, carrier pigeon, it's up to us to figure out the best communication method for our client. And that is going the extra mile. If they want us to come over to the house, we'll do that too. So Harvey, yeah, I do pick on you about that, but you like to entertain. And I still believe there are situations where that is extremely and can be the most effective way.
Jim, you got to meet your buyers or sellers. You got to, obviously it's old school. You got to look at the house. You got to look at the product. It's like you call your doctor up and you see you're not feeling well. He's going to have you come in there and give you the good physical. There's no doubt you got to go out there and look at the house.
Yeah, there'll never be a replacement for the professional real estate agent. A lot of folks think this can be technologized or digitized, but the reality is that an algorithm does not have enough information about the community, about what amenities, what construction type, materials, things of that nature that make a house on block A worth more or less than a house on block B, and why. There'll never be an algorithm that will have that experience, unfortunately. And so as long as that's the case, yes, we need to get face-to-face. We need to tour your home in person and then get together either digitally over Zoom or in person to talk about strategy. What are we going to do to get your house sold?
Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind when you said that, Jim, and Becky, you want to comment on this too, is, even in the school district where my kids went to, they closed down. They're going to close down a middle school. They're opening up a brand new middle school. That's important where you live in the city. Most cities have 2 or 3 middle schools and a high school feeding in. And there's a big difference between what high school amenities even might have. We see it in some cities. I don't want to throw Troy out there, but you got your Troy Athens, your Troy High School. That's one in particular that sometimes people want one or the other for whatever their reasons are. So it is important to have insider information. Nothing will replace the real estate agent. I like that.
No, absolutely not. I mean, and we were homeschool. I mean, most schools were virtual, all last year, but they're going to be coming back. And, so right now schools are going to start becoming a topic. And I feel like we are going to see a little bit of a push here because people are going to want to start to get in school districts again. Right. So you might be able to work from home still, we have that, kind of option, but the kids are going to have to go back to school. And, right now that's going to be, I feel like we're going to see a little bit of a push like we've normally done, like the old ways, right, where you got to get into the school district before the school, beginning the school year. And so I think in the next several months, the next couple of months, we're going to see that push happen once again.
All right, I got to throw this out there before we wrap up the show here. Of course, we got Pat Caputo coming up with sports right after us. We've got Rieger, we got Jim Costa, Tiger Baseball a little bit later on the West Coast out in California and Anaheim. And hopefully they can snap this little 2-game losing streak. So a lot to keep here on 97.1 The Ticket, 248-539-9797 if you want to sneak in a call. We live in a world, as we were saying, where sometimes it sounds easy to click a button, but you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. A lot of the local title companies have reached out to me and said, Harvey, this is the strangest buying season ever. I've got people showing up. The real estate agents, Jim, are meeting their buyers at the closing table. They don't even know each other. So it's definitely a little bit of a different times out there. Get the professionals like Jim Shaffer and Associates involved in whatever you're doing. I'm shocked that the consumers don't really want a better experience like that. But again, it's a different thing nowadays. And again, different generational things are out there. Maybe you don't want to meet people face to face.
Yeah,
well, like Harry was saying earlier, it's situational.
There's meeting face to face, some are not. So we've got this variety of comfort level individually. So the other thing that actually we didn't get to, Harvey, that I do want to make sure we cover, a lot of folks don't know what the next step looks like, because we'll set in a listing appointment and say, I can have 17 offers on your house within 7 days, right? And it takes that seller about 3 seconds to then intellectualize the fact that then they're homeless because they're going to have to compete against 60 other
Right.
people when they try to go buy their next house. And so that's also feeding into this low inventory. There are people that want to move. They just don't know how to navigate that and how to strategize that. So when we sit down with a potential seller, we're going to go over all their options about occupancy and talking about rent back and or free occupancy in a bidding war. The other thing we have the ability to do is bring you an all cash offer on your current home that frees up that capital so that capital mortgage funding can get you pre-approved on the new place without the debt liability on your existing place. So we can cash that out for you, allow you to stay in the home, and then you can go out and shop at your leisure. So that takes that pressure off that a lot of people are worried about.
That's a great point. Aaron Bourdeau, you want to
Yeah.
sneak in?
Kind of lost my point there, Jim.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. You got baseball
Piggybacking
on.
on what you were saying. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Game's
Becky-
getting ready to start now.
Becky, we touched on it quickly at the break, though, that, FHA loans or VA loans, whatever it's out there, if you have an approved buyer, you have an approved buyer. Sellers need to be open-minded about that because, again, at the end of the day, they need to net the most amount of money out of their homes, and they need to actually realize, if there's a shortage, the appraisal shortage, you got to have the money, the funds. You need a team and a mortgage banker to really dictate and give you all that information so you can take the highest offer.
Money is money at the end of the day. And for whatever reason, FHA, the negative stigma that has eluded it over this market because everyone thinks conventional is king. At the end of the day, if the loan is funded and you have a mortgage and it's financed, no matter how that is whatever vehicle is going to get you to that closing table, it needs to work and it's going to work. And FHA, there's nothing wrong with FHA. It's a great program, less money down. You don't have to have perfect credit. And sometimes it just fits. I mean, you have someone that can put 50% down, but because of whatever their situation is, FHA is going to be what we have to do to get them to the closing table. And, FHA, the only thing is if there's not a handrail, okay, the seller might have to do something about it. Okay, well, who wants to buy a house that they're going to stumble down the stairs because they don't have nothing to grab onto? It's common sense, right? So it's a little thing that people are like, oh, I don't want to put a handrail up. Okay, well, it's a health and safety thing, right? And I feel like even on a conventional mortgage, if there's not a handrail going down in the deeps of the depth of the basement, I would have a concern with that anyway, right? So money's money. FHA is definitely a great way to get into your first home, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, even if you're a repeat buyer, maybe something happened, a divorce, what have you, right? It's a great way to, we can just do it all. And I feel like we need to stop the hate on FHA. Stop the hate.
Definitely. Hey, I want to throw it out there, Harry. Jump in. Refinancing mortgage rates won't stay down forever. We do loans everywhere. 620 and above credit scores. There might be an FHA loan out there for you or conventional. Harry, urge people to refinance. What do you got to say?
Rates are going up. Why are you waiting? They're not going down to zero. That's the way it is, everybody. Just take advantage of these historical low rates right now. Don't wait any longer.
All right. Hey, got that soft music playing. Hey, Shane, you did great, man. We got our new producer, Shane. He's tops here at 97.1. And we're tops. Jim Shaffer's tops. That's for sure. Jim Shaffer and Associates, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's our
Aaron
pleasure.
Bourdeau, too, on the line there. Hey, we'll have you guys back for sure in studio.
Thanks for having us.
Rates are at historic lows.